Hello, fourth graders. Welcome to lesson 7.8. We have been talking about number stories recently and what to do with word problems. And we'll build on that today as we talk about some things with measurement. So, what do you think? I'm a grown up. What are some ways that you think Mr. White and other adults in your life, when do we need to use measurement skills, in our own lives? What do you think? All right, here you go. A little sneak preview of adulthood. Car payment. Yep, you want to drive in a car, you are going to need to make a car payment, right? With money, that's measurement. Same with a house, right? We want to live somewhere, or rent payment as well. Medicine, right? You have liters and usually not taking liters of medicine, but milliliters. Different time spent on different activities. Got to buy gas for your car, so you're dealing with gallons and miles per gallon. If you're going to go on a vacation or a trip, you're going to be talking about distance, right, with miles or kilometers. So there's lots and lots of different ways that we see measurement used in our day-to-day lives, right? And you see a lot of those same things. Hopefully you're not making a car payment yet, but you will. This is our idea here with number stories, which is to be sure to have a plan, right? We need to visualize the characters, the setting, and what the characters want. We need to figure out exactly what we need to know at the end. That will help us to find a starting point. Along the way, we need to know what these numbers stand for. And at the end, we have to see if our answer fits, right? We have to look back at the question and see if our answer fits that question. All right, little example with this. Mr. White will kind of talk through this as we go. Emily poured an entire 2-liter container of apple juice into 8 separate glasses. Each glass held the same amount. How many milliliters did each glass hold? All right. So as I visualize this, I just see Emily. What does she want? She wants to split. Well, it's not Dr. Pepper. You don't see a whole lot of 2 liters of apple juice. So I'm imagining it as Dr. Pepper, right? She wants to split those evenly into 8 glasses, right? The splitting automatically tells me dividing at some point. Okay. I also am noticing that we have a 2-liter bottle, but we want our answers in milliliters, right? Remember, when you're dealing with that, we're going to almost always change the larger measurement, right? A liter is big, a milliliter is very small. We're going to change that into milliliters, okay? Do you remember so if I have a 2-liter, if I have this bottle right here, how many milliliters is that? Do you remember? It is 2,000. Okay, so 2,000, and she's going to be splitting it into 8 equal glasses. Now, you might be looking at this like, oh, I can't divide that. Look at all those zeros. You can. Don't worry, right? You just treat them the same way. Go ahead and give it a try. All right, 8. Let's see. I'm going to split this up, do some dividing up. I probably should, you know what? I'm going to write my numbers farther apart so that strategy will make more sense. How many 8s are in 2? Well, none. 8 times 0 is 0. How many 8s are in 20? 2, which is 16. How many 8s are in 40? 40 divided by 8 is 5. And subtract and get 0. So we're going to have a 0 on the end here, right? Minus 0 equals 0. 250. 250 milliliters. Does your answer make sense? That's an okay question, but I like to think, does it fit the question? How many milliliters does each glass hold? The way you know that is by saying it in a complete sentence. Each glass holds 250 milliliters. Okay, see how that works? Let's do a little bit together here in our math journal. Go ahead and open to lesson 7.8. All right, here we go. The fourth graders at Basilone, I don't know. We'll call it B. B Elementary School voted to hold their spring celebration at a local skating rink. The fourth grade student council is in charge of renting the skating rink and planning the celebration. Help the student council make plans by answering the questions below. All right, we can do that. Number 1. The skating rink can be rented. Get your visualizing going. Can be rented for a full session and a half session, which is half as long as the full session. Well, of course, right? A full session is 7 hours and 30 minutes. The student council wants to rent the skating rink for a half session. How many minutes long is a half session? All right. Who are the characters and what do they want? It's the student council members, and they want to rent the skating rink for half of the time. What do you think we need to do here? Okay, what we need to do is to find half of 7 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, now there's a couple of ways that we could do that. Now, writing a number model here with time is a little bit weird. I'm not going to say what I could do, but I could say I was going to take 7 hours and 30 minutes divided by 2. Now, what you have to remember is that this is not 730 minutes. Okay, I cannot do this. Okay, because an hour is not 100 minutes. So let's think about what I could do. I have 7 hours and 30 minutes. How could I find half of that? Okay, there's 2 ways I could do this, right? I could find half of the 30 minutes and half of the 7 hours. Let's do that. Let's do that for fun. Well, the first part's easy. What's half of 30? 15 minutes. And now half of 7. Well, 7 you can't divide equally in half. But if you had 7, let's say you had 7 candy bars and you wanted to split them in half. Well, one person would get 3, the other person would get 3, and the last person would get, and then you take the last one and divide it into half. So really, this is 3.5 hours. Well, 3 hours is well, let's just deal with the half here, right? That's 30 minutes. So it's 3 hours and 30 minutes. And then we just need to add 15 more. Now we have 3 hours and 45 minutes. Okay, another way we could have done that to find half of 7 hours and 30 minutes is to change this all into minutes. So we'll keep this. How would we change 7 hours into minutes? Times 60, right? Times 60 is 420. And then 30. So now I have 450 minutes. That's this whole thing. And I would need to divide that in half. To divide something in half, we can divide it by 2. Now I can kind of think in my brain here, what's half of 400 and what's half of 50? And you might be able to think about that too. Let's go ahead and just divide this out though. We'll bring down 2 into 5 goes. How many times that go? And did I do something wrong here? Nope. 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. How many times does bring down the 0? How many times does 2 go into 10? 5, and that's going to end up with no remainder, even though I'm out of room. So 225 minutes. Now let's check our answer and see what we need to do. How many minutes long is half a session? Yep. So we got to deal with the minutes. We could have changed this into minutes, but we figured it out here, so we don't need to do it a second time. 225 minutes. Not 2 hours and 25 minutes, Mr. White. Nope. 225 minutes. All right. So now as you are continuing here, you're going to do number 1, right? Which talks about the cost. Look how much it costs to rent a skating rink for this session, right? and the student council has $500, then you're going to need to raise the rest of the money. So make sure you do that visualizing. You don't have room to write on this page, so you'll need to solve these on a separate sheet of paper or on a dry erase board. Let's circle the ones for you to do. You're going to do number 2. And then let's do number 3 and number 4. I think there's more than that. But that ought to be, yeah, there's another page. You're free to go onto that if you wish. But for me, you have to do number 2, 3, and 4. If you want to do more, you're always welcome to do more. Okay, this one's about gallons of water. So remember what we talked about with the little trick on lesson 7.1, right? You can always go back and look at lesson 7.1 if you need to. Okay. All right, 4th graders, that is all for today. We're working with measurement today in number stories. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.